Alright, what's going on everybody? I am BisuDagger and I return for another Thursday of casting. Guess what everybody? It is in the middle of a hurricane. Yeah, I'm living in Florida, and if you haven't checked the weather, Hermione, the evil wizard, is turned into a gust of wind and is deciding that it's going to take over my state and parts of Georgia and parts of South Carolina and North Carolina. So there's bad news is, yeah, we've got 80, 90 mile per hour winds tearing through the terrain that I'm currently existing in, and there's the possibility of blackouts. But on the other hand, the great news is work has been canceled tomorrow. This is the first canceled work day due to a hurricane in 11 years because, you know, for all you youngins in Florida, they haven't actually had to experience a hurricane. Meanwhile, the last time a hurricane hit Florida, there were 5 of them in a row, and it caused catastrophic damage. Okay, so that being said, no work tomorrow. I can run long if I want to. I can run literally as long as I want. I had a little bit of some nice coffee here. I've got some soda in my ginger ale in my drink here, so I'm fueling up, baby. I'm getting ready for that second wind. Had a long day of work. It's been hectic, and I'll get into a little bit some more personal stories after the first game. But guys, we're going to be watching. Let me go ahead and turn this music off. Guys, we're going to be watching the greatest Brood War comebacks in just a minute here. And obviously we can't capture all of them. There's nearly 2 decades worth of the greatest games of all time. So let's be serious. Where do we start? And I thought, okay, I'm going to do 2 things. There's a thread that recently popped up that said, what are the greatest comebacks of all time? There was another one from 2011 that one of the TLers linked. And the common theme that I saw was a boxer versus a Joyo game. Yeah, it's a TVP on an island map called Paradox. In about 2002 to 2003, Paradox came out as the last island map, maybe the second to last, if not, the last island map to be played in competitive play. So not only are we going back so old school, we've got island maps, but Boxer vs. Joyo comes up non-stop as, oh my god, this is the greatest game I've ever seen. I can't believe the comeback that occurs in this game. And so I felt like I had to watch it. And then I thought, okay, well, if we're going back to 2003, then maybe we should start just working our way back and then, you know, go 2003 all the way up to our current time. That way we start to capture them all. And we're not going to do it all in one night, but I definitely like to do part 1, part 2, part 3 type episodes. So this one's going to feature a couple boxer games, and then one player that I haven't seen in forever, and I feel like we're all just kind of jonesing to watch him play, is Stork. So we're going to watch Stork versus Harangue 2 in a final map of the day, and that's going to wrap up the 3 that I have planned. And say we move faster, we move along, or we're just feeling the Brood War buzz, then we keep going and we get a 4th game mixed in there. But as you can tell right now, I'm just jonesing for this first game. I hope you guys are too. Okay, this is going to look old school. Look at that drawing with like some old paint style drawings on here on the map. Well, let's go ahead and get this started. I don't know how loud it's going to be. Yell at me if I need to make the background volumes, you know, softer as I continue to do this. Guys, welcome. I love that you're flooding in here. It's obviously the best thing to do on a Thursday is to hang out with me and watch Brood War. Okay, so they're drawing a bunch of random crap on the stream. They're talking about this island map and saying, hey, look, you have to fly to get to any terrain across the map. So that's where you're starting. But, you know, who cares about this? Between this, I want you to see right now if you're looking on the screen. And, you know, let me see if I can arrange this so I can still be visible with the logic here. I don't believe this is locked. Okay, so I'm going to float my head over here, and we'll have the stream over here. It looks like we're good to go. Okay, and did you see that? This is being recorded on an old cam recorder to be able to capture the players' faces. The like old school technology they use to be able to record these games live is absolutely hilarious. And the venue is like a really small venue. It's like it's basically a room in a mall. And a lot of StarCraft tournaments tournaments actually were played out in malls. And it brought tons and tons of people traffic. I mean, these malls would get packed with not just hundreds, but thousands of people, really starting to fill them up. So just one of those really cool things if you didn't know about early StarCraft 1. And of course, we've got Boxer the Emperor, looking very Emperor-like in his blue. I love the blue. He's always wearing bling. If you don't know, his wife Jessica dropped a $500,000 on the StarCraft 2 team Slayers. So obviously this Emperor falls into some hefty change once he does marry into that relationship, which would become him and Jessica as Miss Jessica Boxer. So congratulations to him. I believe that he got married in the past year or two. Okay, making sure that everything is good to go. Now, guys, we're looking in this game, and you got to think that this is an island map. So you've got to get to that air tech. There's no forge expanding. There's no, like, you know, siege mode expanding. It's literally about getting to that air tech. But nice to note here is one of the quickest ways to get Scout out is to actually go for that faster academy so you can get your contest station. That's kind of something that you probably think is in the last thing in your mind here is, why would I need an academy or scans against my opponent unless they had, you know, something like wraiths? And it's just not something you think about right away. Of course, when you get down to the nitty-gritty, what if it was a really fast shuttle into DT drops? And of course, Boxer might want to try and sniff that out. And on the other hand, you've got the Protoss player up at the top right, Joyo. And Joyo is wanting to get that observer out really fast, because it's really important that he understands what tech Boxer is going to be going for. What if he did decide to go for dropship first and get an SCV over to a random location where he could build a second command center and start, just thrusting his economy forward much faster than the Protoss economy? So now we're seeing that the armory's done, that the starport's on its way, and Boxer can do two things now with the configuration of his buildings. He can go into wraiths, or he can get an add-on for dropship. Meanwhile, he also, with the faster armory, is going to allow him to get those Glyphs out to defend his island down at the bottom. These islands are huge. There's quite a bit of distance to gather here. And look at this, the barracks getting pushed back. So this is just a simple fast shuttle to get the Dragoon and the probe in and just kind of shake its leg all the way down to that base at the 3 o'clock location and already start up the Nexus. It can't be punished. It really can't. You know, unless he had invisible wraiths, which it's going to take time to at least get that cloaking wraith tech, but wraiths just aren't that great against Dragoons in general, so Boxer's just going to have to let this faster expansion slide while he continues to work on his tech. Goliaths are in the mix here, though. I mean, Goliaths are great. They are really good at anti-air. When it comes to the ground, they're pretty solid too. They can go tit for tat with those Dragoons. No problem, indeed. And so Boxer's going to have to use his Gosu senses and identify where that observer is that's going to be coming across. The little bit of, like, ghost form that you can see as it's making its way across the field. And so 4 Goliaths so far in this mix. Obviously, he's going to need more than just one dropship if he wants to take those Goliaths and tarry them across the map. That's a good word. Can I use tarry? I think I'm going to use that one a little bit more. So 3 factories here. Look at that. They'll load up into the dropship already. Not quite as efficient as being able to carry around the amount of bio units you usually can, but bio still just not that great at trading once you get into the mid-game against Protoss. The micro abilities of Dragoons is just absurd. Even in 2003, where you think that there probably weren't too many Protoss players that could micro, which is probably the huge success of Nalra. He was a pretty well-skilled player back in the day. I mean, that guy really had it together. One of the most progressive Protoss players in his day before the new era of Best, Bisu, and Free started to come about and start to dominate the new era of Protoss, which those guys have really kind of hung around and kept that throne under wraps just forever at this point. So this is a bit of dropships here, just skirting around. And it looks like Boxer does want to find a way to drop onto his opponent's base. Joyo's playing pretty good, though. You see how many cannons he's got up on either location. He knows that they're going to be great at anti-air, and they can hit the ground units, too. So photon cannons, while they don't really have a great place in PvT and modern-day meta, they really shine here in this island map matchup here between these two players. So the dropships are working their way back, and my concern with Boxer is the fact that he hasn't worked on an expansion yet. If anything, he at least should have the extra minerals to build an additional command center, and go ahead and send that command center to one of those other wonderful mining locations, where it seems that there's not a really strong presence by Joyo on the map. And finally here, he is going to be dropping an SCV. So really late, but now we are going to be seeing this additional command center. Guys, not only is this old, this is 2003 old. We're watching the best of Brood War comebacks here in StarCraft 1. So we're back at the MyCube OSL Boxer vs. Joyo 2003, August 15th on the map Paradox. Alright, that was a mouthful, but we're going to continue here. The command center is still far away from being completed. Although, again, like I said, it doesn't look like Joyo has the presence that you'd be concerned with. Now that engineering base lifting up again, ready to go out for the scout. The funny thing is here, obviously you can use the engineering bay, you could turret up your island map areas if you wanted to. The main base actually doesn't do well with turreting up because you can't get turrets close to the edge. You could actually get your shuttles in a little bit further, so you can start doing kind of a drop micro thing where, you know, zealot after zealot after zealot kind of in a line kind of drop out of those shuttles if you want to do that sort of engagement. Or maybe it gives you just that extra half second of time to get your arbiter inside that main base location for that key recall into your opponent's base. Now, I don't know how the meta worked on these island maps back in the day, but I know for sure that the strong arbiter meta just didn't exist back in 2003. And any of you critics can try and correct me if I'm wrong. But the level of play that we saw in, let's say, Shuttles games, well, actually, Shuttle versus Last probably is like one of the worst examples of a current PvT, because Shuttle did so poorly with his arbiters. But it was clear that, you know, it's that late game arbiter play on large maps versus Terran. You're supposed to do way more with your stasis, but I've just never seen a player like Last lock down so many potential recalls and stasis with the EMPs that he did in those games. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, you're missing out on the Africa Star League. Obviously a great tournament that you guys should be able to watch. And if you guys hear a chain rattle in the background, I promise you that's not the chain my wife holds on me, but it's my dog's leash. Every once in a while, they like to shake it up, especially my giant husky. She gets restless at night, especially during these hurricanes. Okay, so this is quite a bit of SCVs now. The mining seems to really picked up at this natural base. Meanwhile, the Nexus has been around for way longer. But now we can see that Boxer's air fleet is just getting out of control. His transportation units allowing him to traverse the map very quickly. Meanwhile, we're seeing the great old fleet beacon. Yes, so not Arbiter tech, where you would think, oh, it would be so great if you just recalled Zealots and Dragoons around the map. I think where the argument against Arbiters on Island Map specifically is that you do the recall, and then when are you going to get those units back? You really can't. You're not going to be as mobile as this dropship cavalry that we're seeing flying around for Boxer. So still this nice little scary fleet, the focus of Boxer as he's looking for the right place to attack. Hasn't probably realized that it is going to be carriers, but probably anticipating it here as he does just wait patiently for the right location to attack. Okay, well, there's a bit of shuttles out here, but double production from these Stargates, honestly, a third base needs to be taken, so he can get up to 3 Stargate carrier production. You want to get those carriers out real fast. Those late game Protoss tech units, God, they take so long. Upgrades take long for Protoss 2 in the late game. It just gets disgusting. It's all about times, but you know what? That's where you get to make up that time with huge amounts of macro coming out from gateways. And that's just, you lose that evenness when it comes to the island maps. Okay, so these dropships are just still just teetering around the map. Boxer being indecisive, and instead of going for another command center, you can see he's building up his turret rings around the map while building a safe command center at that 8 o'clock location. The science facility finally coming down too. And what is going to be the worth out of that science facility? You know, I'd almost say because it's island maps, how cool would it be if Boxer decided to go for ghosts? And it kind of dropped ghosts around the map, dropping nukes everywhere. He might be able to kind of do that. If Joyo's lacking on observers, there's definitely that possibility. I think more for the late game, though, and this map specifically, well, let's think more battle cruisers. Battle cruisers in the late game, oh my god, BCs versus carriers, that would definitely have made this an epic game. But we do see that this is just getting outrageously huge. There's so many dropships now. I think we're up to a total of 8. You know, multiply that by the number of units inside. And it looks like this is going to be the first real engagement here at the top. Lots of units dropping out here. Oh my god, look at all those Goliaths. This is looking like the last movie of the Matrix series. And they are just going forward. So many clunky mech units. Joyo's going to have to call Robocop in if he wants to survive this. Losing his High Templar right away. The Zealot's just trying to tank at the front. But this is going to be a lot of carnage here. The Goliath's pushing forward. The Dragoons microing back. But, guys, we haven't seen the carriers yet. When are they getting carriers going to be coming in? Carrier micro hasn't been established at this point in the game either. But, oh my god, those storms. This is like not moving Hydralisk out of storms bad. Oh, wow. So Joyo really trying to pull the equalizer here by using his Templar. The Goliath's going down like crazy now, and we're going to see a huge amount of carriers. Meanwhile, behind this, Boxer is going to be going for that 3rd base. He does have the additional command center. His economy still is going as solid as ever. But he lost a lot of Goliaths. A decent amount of factories, though, to re-macro out of. That mineral line, it's getting low. Joyo, where's your extra base? Your mineral line's got to be going low in your main base, too. Both these players going to be down to 1 base, except for Boxer. He's got that command center in the bag. Landing it now with the turret ring. He's ready to go. That is a ton of carriers, though. Those carriers need to be out on the map. There's a clear significant path for Joyo to go and destroy Boxer, knowing that there's just such a lack of Goliaths here. Meanwhile, this mid-area plane is dominated by Goliaths right now, and the Dragoons are trying to just clear the area out because the carriers can get hunted down. If Boxer does a good job of bringing the Goliaths back and forth from left to right of the map, trying to cover that midway seam, and just trying to prevent these carriers from moving forward and powering through to Boxer's bases. It's a lot of interceptors available already. I mean, there's been plenty of time for all the interceptors to be maxed out. The upgrade has to be done at this point. There's no reason to not have the maximum amount of interceptors available to these carriers. And those Goliaths will be chasing back that shuttle, but a decent amount of Dragoons down in the middle. This Gateway carrier army is actually really scary right now. And we're going to be seeing that these Goliaths are probably going to get picked off relatively easy. Oh, the micro, not too bad. I feel like that carrier, and one of those carriers in that mix, did get hit quite a few times. They're showing it now too. Obviously, the shields get destroyed there, but Boxer still hanging on here. He's losing control of the middle of the map, but he still has a lot of dropships. How is he going to recover from this? The Dragoons on the high ground, the carriers on the high ground too. There's not a lot of SUVs, but a decent amount of turrets here. The turrets are really just a waste of money as long as Joyo uses proper interceptor micro here. I don't know if he quite understands how to do the constant move because the interceptors keep returning to the carriers. And that's really bad. He's got to keep them out. Oh my god. That's just a lot of Goliaths out of nowhere. The re-macro from Boxer really well here as he uses his dropships to take over the middle of the map one more time. Just taking out turrets at this point. And we got to remember that Joyo is going to need an additional base if he wants to continue to fund these interceptors. Really mineral intensive. As they die off, you're just losing that mineral bank faster and faster. It's crashing faster than our stock markets. Okay, that Goliath right there, it's got to die. It's got to go down, and it does. And these carriers just going to return towards the right side of the map, kind of take safe haven right now. Not too many of them. There's not a lot of supporting Dragoons right now either. And what is this? A switch to Arbiter Tech. Well, Rinky Dink, this is going to get quite interesting. We don't see any of the forges moving inside that base. No upgrades looking forward for this Protoss army. Decent amount of mining coming. It looks like just a lot of minerals. I mean, was there even a gas at that base that Boxer has at the natural? It's disgusting how low econ this game really is right now. I can't begin to tell you how far we are into this game without trying to ruin the results. We see that, though, the carriers regrouping with the ground units one more time. Not a lot of zealots in this game. It's basically, and you haven't seen a single vulture. I think that if you were watching a today's day and age PvT, that vulture drops would be a thing. Because you can just run in there and you pick off a ton of probes. It's really annoying. You don't have a lot of bases, so every time you lose those probes, it takes you a long time to regain them, especially since you only have one nexus per island. So that is really just going to slow things down. The Arbiter here, oh! Did it... It looked like an EMP almost went off, but I'm not seeing where the science vessel is. Still, the Arbiter's holding down the fort right there, trying to just close these units. The high ground Dragoons are doing a great job. You know, if Boxer had a tank there, he might be able to kill a lot of these Dragoons. Just one siege tank can make a difference on the low ground. But these players are one-track minded. They're thinking it's going to be Goliath the whole game, and Joyo's thinking it's going to be Arbiter Carrier, because I've got the most badass combo possible. These Goliaths, though, they have almost Dragoon level pathing, which makes it really hard for them to walk between turrets and not just bungle up and screw everything else. So they're having a lot of trouble getting over to this cliff to engage appropriately in this area. And you know what? I feel like Joyo actually got an expansion. They really haven't focused on that too much, but Joyo finally did get a third base, so that's really good for him. I believe there might be one more mining facility on this map. If not, that's it. I mean, this is it. We've maxed out on the amount of mining bases on this map, just 3 per player. And you can see just how awkward of a map Paradox is. It is indeed a confusing one. And so, just camping on this high ground here, without any SCVs being able to mine from these minerals, Boxer's out of minerals at his main base, if maybe just minimal amount of minerals remaining here. Oh, look at this. The Goliaths do come in trying to take out what they can. Boxer finally going for the counter harass. You know, if he can't properly defend his third base, then he needs to counter attack. And what he's doing really well right now is drawing the forces away. These carriers that were attacking his third base are not coming back because he does realize the importance of needing this third base himself. Without those additional minerals, he won't be able to build more interceptors. He's going to have to trade very efficiently here. Still, those Dragoons on the high ground doing a great job of locking it down. The dropships here can come back into the mix. I would be surprised if he wasn't able to use those dropships to get a decent amount of Goliaths, enough to be able to take out the Dragoons that are just camping on the high ground. So, still a pretty solid game so far between both these players. But Joyo, without that base, you know, I gotta say that he's at a disadvantage here. Boxer somehow is still managing to use his SCVs at this mineral line. I don't know how he's out mining the DPS of those Dragoons on the high ground, but he is managing to do that. Oh, and it looked like there was tank fire. There's possible siege tank defending finally at that base, and that would be really good for Boxer. It just only takes a couple of units of certain types to be able to properly defend your base. Yeah, you can see that there's even a Boxer, sorry, not a Boxer, a tank. They're synonymous with each other. A tank remaining at that main base for him to use with his mixing units. But we see a lot of Goliaths here trying to defend a Zealot, a 3 Zealot and 2 Dragoon run by here. And wow, oh, he goes for a recall with the carriers too. Boxer, where are your units? Gonna need a lot of Goliaths here to defend. And Joyo, he's just going for it, putting on his death face, trying to do his Afro stomp. And the Goliaths here They're not in large numbers. He is attacking the production facilities though, which is where the re-macro is going to come in from Boxer, who has also a decent amount of Goliath on the rest of the map too. He's going to have to focus on a couple different locations to make sure he gets his army all together if he's going to survive this. I mean, there's no way. It looks like Joyo is really starting to hit his stride in this game as he continues to push forward and punish this main base. If he can kill off a couple of these factories, I don't know how Boxer will survive. It definitely would look like a GG situation. That tank going down, nothing to really defend against these Dragoons here. And this is definitely Joyo's game for the taking. Oh, these carriers. They're just going nuts. The interceptor's swarming over the production facilities. But Boxer, I guess maybe the worst he could do, or the best he could do right now is just lift everything up inside of his main base and start lifting everything away. Joyo's off the gas pedal. He's bringing his units back. Why is he separating his carriers from the rest of the map? He needs to make sure he locks down the production facilities. Kill off all the factories, Joyo, if you want to win this game. Boxer knows what he has to hold on to here. Losing these factories is absolutely critical. That one on fire does go down. And let's see the rest of the map here. It looks like Joyo, at that 4 o'clock position, still has a mining base here. Boxer not denying it like he was doing earlier. How in the heck can Boxer win this game at this point? Let's do just pure numbers. These Goliaths keep apparating out of nowhere. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I think that maybe they have a respawn point at other locations. And oh my god, how many carriers just went down? That was disgusting. Because Joyo doesn't know how to use future carriers, doesn't know how to micro them properly, Boxer just runs in, ignores the interceptors, and uses his long-range Hellfire missiles to smoke out those carriers from the sky and reestablish his dominance in this game. All the SCVs are no longer mining at that second location for Boxer. He's going to need to spare a dropship so he can bring those SCVs over to his third base to continue the mining here. The carnage still continuing for Joyo as he continues to apply pressure. Pressure applied means that there isn't pressure received, and he has an unharassed economy as he continues to engage here. Wow, one carrier left. Most of the gateway units destroyed at this point. That tank, is the tank going to survive? 2 Zealots banging on it. It looks like it's going to become just a useless tin can. And look at all the defense remaining for Joyo. Obviously, no more mining. He's got a lot of Zealots and High Templars that aren't doing anything at this point. He's going to need to use his shuttles to ferry them over to this base. Okay, so Boxer without a mining, without 2 mining bases, just on one. Joyo just on 1 base. Joyo obviously has all his production facilities still available to him. He lost all his carriers. The carriers are down at this point, so significantly weakened as far as his late game composition goes. But this is the only place that he has to attack at this point. If he can keep his third base alive and he can eliminate the mining here, let's see a 6th storm. Obviously, I think it's more important that he actually keeps the High Templar alive. And what are we seeing here? Where's the shuttle to bring more probes over? Where's the defensive shuttle here to take out that tank on the high ground along with those Goliaths? It's going to be really hard for Joyo. He's going to have to shuttle drop in the middle and sprint his units over on the ground because it's going to be too hard for him to land with his shuttle nearby with those Goliaths and their nasty range. So you do see Nike shoes on and all with that speed. The Zealots do engage here, taking out the tank. But then Boxer's so smart, knows if your units are on the high ground, let's go on the low ground. He does do a little bit of a harassed tease there as he loots backwards with his dropship. 2 shuttles having to return while Joyo does try and hold on to his third base. So many probes were lost to that tank fire. Slow reactions from him. Still not that ghosty level that you'd expect from future Protoss caliber players. This is such a scrappy game, you guys, here in the middle of the map. I looked at Paradox and I thought, why would there ever be a unit in the middle island of this map? Why would you ever drop units in this island? There's no resources here, but apparently it's just like the #1 hub hotspot for harassing that third base, which becomes so critical in the late game on this. So Boxer is floating a command center over again. I believe he lost his original command center, but it looks like he was able to defend, sparing a vulture. Actually, now we're seeing vultures because they're really economic, and he only has really minerals. He's got to take out these cheap units to be able to survive and hang on here. When you saw 5 carriers and 2 control groups of gateway units inside of Boxer's base and he lost all his Goliaths, were you thinking that this is going to be an instant GG? I mean, think of the lineage of Terran players that played for SKT. When you think Boxer and Uv and Fantasy, this is the beginning of the legacy where Boxer says, I will never give up. I'm never going to GG early in a game because maybe the outcome can be different. But this is a massive storm. SCV is going down, but they're actually coming to engage and attack. They might actually get a High Templar kill. The hug of the SCV, it's like a Dementor's kiss. It sucks your soul out. It's no fun at all. But the Zealot's still here, able to clean out as much as possible. And we're seeing the annoying gnats of the carrier here actually ready to take out the command center. Once again, Boxer's in trouble. I believe he only has 1 more command center built and ready to float over to that location. His mineral count's got to be low. That vulture doesn't know what the hell it's doing. And now it's time to go on the counter-offensive. Boxer with 2 dropships here, ready to face off against Joyo at this third base. So many vultures coming down. It should make quick work of these probes, but still, it's going to require a certain level of micro, even with massive upgrades on these factories, to be able to stay alive against Zealots. That, or just, you know, go ahead and put down spider mines. I'm glad to see that that research upgrade has been completed here, and now the vultures are going to have to try and run around because the spider mines went almost way too quick. Joyo did a great job of hunting those down, but oh my god, the trades are ridiculous here. The final Dragoon sitting inside of this third base here, trying to defend with the cannon. The probe's in trouble here too. They're gonna die so quickly. Look at that one, just that one vulture is just racking up the kills, trying to get his kill count high before it returns home to the bars of the Terran bases. All right, this is insane, guys. Where is Boxer going to go from here? He doesn't have a third base. How the hell does he even have some economy coming in at the main base with those slight mineral patches that are still contributing here? Joyo's losing everything. It doesn't look like he can actually defend here. He doesn't have any shuttles to bring units over. He's defending with an Arbiter, which has like the lowest attack in the game. It is just disgusting how terrible the attack is on the Arbiter. But they still give it to him, you know, because when you don't have spells and abilities, sometimes all you can do is just slowly watch things die. There's that one shuttle floating around, and oh my god, that carrier does exist. So 2 Gosu carriers coming to defend here. They kill things too quickly. That's the problem. When you're carriers versus vultures, vultures win out every time because they kill everything on the ground before you have a chance to kill off all the vultures. So disgusting work and play here. Oh, the carrier's coming in to engage on this dropship here of Goliath. The Goliaths run out, and they're going to be chasing the carriers back. The Arbiter has been taken out, and this dropship micro has been great. The Nexus is so close to getting down. Boxer's got to be feeling it now too. He's got to be getting the wind shivers at this point. Somehow he's been able to work himself back into this game. By losing his entire main, he still was able to hold on. I seriously think we've had unit hacks at this point in the game, because how else was he able to continue to produce units? This is out of control here, and the Goliaths, they've cleaned up everything just in a simulator now. Joyo, what are you to do? Probably retirement. I don't remember too many more Joyo games after this. And I'm not just saying that to be cruel. I'm being honest. Oh, look at the crying here. The cute little Asian girls crying because they know that Terran is broken one more time. How many more years are we going to have to watch this imbalance? That's what they're thinking here. And these Goliaths running in. Oh, let's go ahead and fire these double missiles at your carrier. Carrier does go down. One more carrier for the battle. We're seeing this. Boxer's shoulders thrusting forward. He is putting every single bit of upper body strength he has into smushing down these keys as he tries to take it out. No camera shot of Joyo because Joyo's just too ugly to look at this time. Oh god, okay, now we see here, he started with a full head of hair, now he's got none. Nay, this is a difficult spot for a Protoss player to be in. So much carnage! Oh, I think he's going to tap it, guys. I think this is just going to be it. As I hear the rain pound on my roof, and I know that this hurricane nears, we also see the near death of Joyo. He will be legendary for this loss. How? He had everything in his hands. He had 3 bases. Boxer had nothing. I can't emphasize the crazy amount of disgustingness that we've just seen here today. And man, 2003 was another time. GG! GG! That's it. Look at all the fans. Look at this hub of StarCraft players and competitors that are just excited to cheer him on. That woman nice enough to fan him. Understandably, it is hot in there. And somehow he survived. He won that. The beginning of the end. God, the Terran race, just so disgusting. Boxer, truly the emperor of this game. And this is why Air Force Ace, the South Korean government, had to give this guy a team once he had to go into forced enlistment. What a game, what a game. Man, don't we all wish we were there in that crowd? That would be like the coolest thing ever. In 2003, I was, let's see here. I was 16. I was 16 when this happened, guys. My word. What a bit ago. I'm actually older than I thought I was. That's a sad realization, isn't it? Alright. So that's going to be the end of game number 1, guys. Game number 2 is going to be coming up very shortly. I just need a quick drink because that was pretty intense, non-stop commentary. So guys, hang back. We will be into game number 2 soon enough. Alright guys, I am back and welcome to the show. I am BisuDagger and I've started calling this the Dagger Weekly. I don't know, maybe it'll catch on. I'm only available for like Thursdays consistently every week, so I try and come here to cast on Thursdays. Of course, for the Africa Star League, you've been able to catch me twice a week on Sundays and Tuesdays, which has become Sundays and Mondays because they love to change up that schedule. My last cast will be on the 10th for the Africa Star League. You'll see me there with Amazing XKCD and Flash for the win as we triple cast for the finals. So I really hope that you guys can watch me. If not, go ahead and watch Tasteless and Artosas. I really don't care. Watch whoever you want. The Korean casting of it is just as quality too. I just really care that you can watch Sharp versus Shuttle in the finals. Those two players really deserve it. Sharp, even though he's a Terran player, really deserves the fans. He's a really young, up-and-coming guy, so it's cool that he is playing so well in the scene. Both players, for the first time in their finals, it's going to be a great TVP. Okay, so let me tell you, now that we've got a bit of people in the chat here, you know, this past Sunday, or this past weekend, was probably one of my hardest weekends in like terms of my life. I actually had to go to my dad's funeral on Saturday, and I literally spent all Saturday 2 hours south of where I live at my dad's funeral, getting it ready, you know, participating in the ceremony and going through all of that. Well, by the time that was done, I literally had 2.5 hours on a 2-hour drive to get back to my home at midnight and be able to cast the Africa Star League semifinals game. So I only had, you know, like a half an hour's rest, went back into the Africa Star League cast, and then I only had 3 hours of sleep that night before I had to wake back up and then go back to Gainesville, where the ceremony was held the day before, so I can still participate in stuff the following Sunday. By the time I went to work, because I also had to cast Monday morning, I only had 9 hours of sleep last weekend. And that was going into the weekend sick. So it was really, really tough. But, you know, the bottom line is anybody who comes out to watch and support me while I do my casting, it's really appreciated, because believe me, I really do try and put in the effort to make this as enjoyable as possible. And so thank you for listening to that little tidbit there. I thought it'd be nice to share something with you guys. Okay, let me just add the screen capture here, and we'll be good to go with this next game. We're going to be watching another boxer match. We've jumped up 2 years though. It's going to be 2005. So let's enjoy some more history of StarCraft 1. This is also going to be a PVT. I apologize if you don't like PVTs, because 2 of them in a row, and that's what's going to happen. Last week though was all PVZs. We had a special PVZ cast, so I guess this is a good mix-up from that one. Let's go forward here. Yes, we're watching Boxer versus Pusan, and this is known as one of the pimpest plays of 2005 as we watch this game. Guys, I am BisuDagger. We're about to get nuts. I love the cheering in the background. Listen to what I'm hearing.
이면에게는 마지막 경기가 될 수 있습니다. 지면 끝입니다. 3, 4위전으로 가요. 이면의 진영은 왼쪽입니다. 7시.
Look at Boxer. He switched from the all blue to the white blue. Still looks like he should be in Gunman
전체
Wing
승률이
as a fighter here.
18이었는데 만약에 이 경기까지 이겨가지고 3대0 승부를 내면은 승률이 8위로 많이 뛰어옵니다.
Okay, so yeah, we have Boxer down at the bottom left, and we're going to have Pusan, the Protoss player, down at the bottom right. Oh, Pusan, I love him. He's a great Protoss player. Very exciting to see him playing again. You know, he was doing pretty well in StarCraft 1 after he returned into post-Kespa era, playing under the SOSPA leagues around when Sonic was still participating too. It's kind of sad that both he and Sonic have disappeared from the scene. One of them because of unfortunate circumstances, the other one, you know, just trying to take a seat back and work on more of his personal life and career. So that's where Pusan lays today. But back in 2005, he was one of the top Protoss players, hands down, a great competitor here. And so Boxer's going to have his hands full. Already sending out an SCV, and so maybe things will get scary here for Boxer, or for Pusan, if Boxer decides to build maybe a barracks or 2 out in the middle of the map. Don't know how this is going to go, but it's called a Pimpus play. So if it's a Pimpus play, it's got to show something ridiculous here. But today is all about the greatest StarCraft 1 comebacks of all time, and I picked these based on how many times I saw players paste the same video repeatedly over a series of threads that had the exact same content. Oh my god. Boxer, you cheeky bastard, putting up 2 racks in the middle of the map. This probe, though, it's coming out here. It's hunting down. It's seeing both SCVs. Oh, it's getting its tasers in a tizzle as this probe works its way around. Boxer already canceling one of his barracks. He's only going to let one complete at this point. He knows that this isn't going to work if he goes for the 2 racks. So he does cancel, but he needs the additional barracks. He has to let it finish. He's going to try and defend it. It's going to come all down to like the pathing of this construction here over whether the SCV will get killed off at all. Thanks for following. I love you. Welcome to this stream, and this is Boxer versus Pusan. Hopefully you can see those names at the top left and the top right of the screen here. This is back in 2005. Yeah, this is going to be looking about as crappy as possible because the old videos just don't have that HD resolution. And yes, I already did Boxer versus Joyo on Paradox already, and Boxer with a great comeback there. This is not live. This is a 2005 game. I am casting live, obviously, here, but you can catch me from the VODs on my YouTube channel, Dark Arcana Buyer, or subscribe to Twitch if you want to see me every Thursday doing outrageous, outlandish stuff like this. I try and think of good ideas every week for you guys to have your enjoyment here. So this Zealot's getting up inside the base. Oh, it so badly wants to get that notch under his belt. It wants to kill off that Marine. At least one Marine will have to go down, right? Yes! And he does explode it. Boxer, he's trying to kill it off with the tasers of the SCV, though. The Imba health, gonna try and wall it off, trying to hug around his units here. Another Zealot's gonna be coming forward. And Pusan's going to be laying on the pressure. He knows that there's a distinct weakness while the factory isn't alive. Marines running back from the middle of the base. Thank God it's not a far spawn from that barracks inside the middle for him to be able to get his Marines back. Boxer, it looks like he's going to be normalizing possibly at this point because the factory is so close to finishing up. There's still 2 Marines alive. And God, he is so stubborn, not building a bunker at the front to help him defend here. To micro the Marines back and forth between. Just think about how fruitful this would have been if he did get a bunker to hide the Marines inside. That Zealot, though, it's getting surrounded by all those SCVs. And good God, this is just absolutely insane. So many workers coming down. Oh, Boxer, oh, Boxer. Okay, so he does have that Vulture out. The Vulture going to be able to micro against pretty much anything, except for, what do we have? The Haymaker Dragoon on the middle of the map here. It's going to be working its way over to the left side, and it's going to go with the Conga Line Marine Vulture mix-up here to try and defend against the Dragoon on the low ground. And that Dragoon, I believe, will work its way back here. So maybe it'll try and pick up an SCV. Can it see vision on that? Yes, it can. Oh, no. It's going to have to work back. It's going to have to work its way back here. Not being able to see properly on the high ground to be able to target any of those units. Boxer looking so sleek in his rimless glasses here. Never seen a player more focused. And of course, we do have Pusan, the all-star Protoss player, down at the bottom right. If you're just coming in, I welcome you to this 2005 map as it has gotten gritty so fast. This is what happens when you go for 2 racks and it gets punished. Pusan doing so well. That tank, though, coming out, it's going to make Boxer a fierce defender at this point. Don't run those Dragoons in. Pusan, you know better. That range of the tank, not even sieged up, going to be able to hit those Dragoons. Meanwhile, sending that barracks over to the right because he needs to make sure he gets the scout out. I mean, what? God forbid. What if Pusan decided to go for DT tech? He's got to identify that right now. He doesn't have the ability to get an academy out and go for scans, and he would need to research Spider-Mine upgrade right away if DT Tech was on its way. Meanwhile, this is just going to be like a bulldogging style, just a forceful way to get those Dragoons up the ramp, but still that imbalanced SCV going to be blocking, say, hell no, you're not getting up here. Gandalf style, and Dragoons are just going to have to stay on the low ground. Okay, so the tank's still doing well in the air here. Another command center being built. Boxer actually has a significantly less amount of workers, and the way to get that count back up is not to just build off of 1, but 2 production buildings. so he's going to need another command center. Meanwhile, Pusan's going to have to identify the fact that Boxer is going for the economy. He's going to be trying to play for this mid to late game. And so, that being said, either Pusan tries to get a significant amount of units to make sure that this natural base never happens, or he gets a Nexus for himself. That's right, guys. So we are seeing an engineering day coming up, kind of, I guess, at the front here. I don't know if maybe he's going for the engineering day because he's identified that Shovel Tech is coming. He wants to shut it down. He doesn't have any anti-air, and he's got to get the turrets up around the base to defend against the potential drops that could occur inside of his main base. So here we go, the observer on the way. It looks like it's going to be Pusan taking his foot off the pedal, going a little bit more defensive as he works up his tech. You know, getting that additional Nexus at the natural base. Meanwhile, the observatory, instead of going for Reavers, is saying that, hey, I've got a good command at the start of this game. My Nexus is only a little bit behind your command center, but Pusan's got a great army right now, and the army size is going to be enough to help him just kind of do some semi-harassment at the natural base. Tanks will make quick work of this, though, working the way forward. You know, Boxer could actually drop down a bunker at the front because he does have a Marine, and it might just help him wall off and make it easy for him to expand here. So many tanks coming down on the low ground. You're going to see a mix of 4 right now. The Dragoons are possibly going to be able to pick off a tank, though. The SCV running in for repair. It's going to be a little bit too late, just staying there frozen in place, wondering how the hell did I not save that tank. But oh my god, 5 Dragoons getting killed right there. Pusan, for shame. Do you not care for ire? Do you not care for the spirits of these ethereal souls of the Protoss race? Clearly not. So now he's just going to go ahead and pound on a useless Terran building at this point in the game, knowing that it's going to be Mech versus Gateway in the mid-game. Boxer, though, he's rallying back from being down on his worker count, from having such a terrible opening with all his misfortunate luck, and it looks like his mech forces are starting to roll Pusan back into the right side of his map. Yeah, these Dragoons are doing a little bit better micro than they did earlier. Why run into 4 siege tanks when they're properly spaced out in the natural base against a really small choke point is beyond me, but Pusan, he's got balls bigger than we know, and he's going to do what he wants. Obviously still really strong. He's played great throughout the years here. He's going to be moving in with his Gateway army. Not too many zealots to tank these tanks. Firepower right now, and really he needed a couple more zealots, but still miraculously able to bounce back again, try to position his Dragoons so that way siege tank fire wouldn't hurt his army. Able to take him out and kill off the SCVs as a bonus. The workers do go down, and some great merry play for Pusan as he manages to take back the middle of the map and works his way over to the left side. That's Spider-Mine! Oh, the Spider-Mine allows this Dragoon to die. There's a blue goo goes, and now we're seeing that Pusan is just going to go on forward regardless. This relentless assault. He wants to pressure Boxer. He wants to take the win off the Emperor. This guy's won way too many tournaments. He's disappointed him. And why does he keep denying Yellow his gold medal? So now Pusan wants to take revenge for all players that have lost to Boxer, including Joyo, who we saw in the last game on Paradox in the 2003 matchup on the last island ever. Okay, that mouthful being said, Boxer's working his way towards a pretty strong natural and main base economy here, sitting off 2 bases. Paired players have no problem off these 2 bases. Meanwhile, the get-ahead momentum that Pusan had at some point isn't there anymore. His economy should be really good at this point, and he should be thinking a 3rd or 4th Nexus at this time. A double expand would actually work for him. Yes, this is an odd map, though. It's kind of weird for expansions, but still, you know what? He doesn't have his natural gas either, but his main base is running low on minerals, and the odds are he just needs these extra bases. So he's going to be going for a Nexus, and you can see that it's a wide opening area to that Nexus. He's going to need 3 or 4 pylons, 2 or 3 cannons to properly defend there. Otherwise, Vulture run-bys would be disgustingly horrendous for him. So many probes would die. He needs to make sure he has the proper amount of defense to keep these Vultures from doing those run-bys. Boxer obviously wasn't the person to popularize Vulture Micro, but he knows a thing or two about harassment, I would say.
이면은 지금 본진 쪽 확장기 쪽에 움츠리고 병력만 계속 생산하고 있어요.
All right, as we take a quick break into the action, sip on my drink and prepare for the rest of this game.
박지호 선수가 테크트리를 올려서 좀
Okay, guys, torrential rain is coming down outside of my house, but that's okay. I just feel like it adds to the intensity. When you have 60-mile-per-hour winds pounding against your window, you just feel like the power of gods is behind you. And we are watching God's given game, Brood War. Welcome you guys to 2005. This is Boxer versus Pusan in one of the pimpest plays 2005 games of the year. Alright, and I see that LeaderBot, you're in the chat. LeaderBot, make sure you send me all those replays that you want me to cast. I don't care if you even send me money or not. I would love to be able to cast as many games as you desire me to cast. Maybe I could fit those in next Thursday. Sounds pretty good. I'll be working a 10-hour day next Thursday. It's going to be brutal. But so is the way you have to do things sometimes. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, and if you guys don't know, I've casted a few man versus machine games in my past. Oh, let's hold up here. A little bit of a drop, and we're going to see that these Zealot bombs have been relatively unsuccessful. Oh, he does get one tank, though. I cast some man versus machine games. I love watching the AI versus the humans. AI versus AI is pretty good, too, and if you didn't watch, then you should have seen last weekend that the AI versus Shuttle was just not strong enough. AlphaGo losing his game 3-1, and my perfect TL prediction again, I am 4 for 4 in the last 4 predictions I've made for Team Liquid. So, thank you very much. And I have yet to determine the finals, but I believe that Shuttle will defeat Sharp, given his weekend TV. Okay, these Dragoons are pushing in here. Oh my god! Pusan really trying to break this down, but the Vultures are in a really good spot along with the SCVs to help defend here. The tanks are still alive in the background, and it looks like Boxer's going to hold on. He's got his supply depots in the right position, and you're seeing that Boxer is the pioneer of these builds. When the games are this old, this wasn't discovered by anybody else but Boxer and a few other Terrans that, hey, you've got to put buildings down at the front. Zealots can't easily get to the tanks if you put them there, and you also have to have this Vulture tank composition to be able to deal with the Zealots that are trying to get to the base of the tanks. You've got to stop that from happening. And Boxer is one of those ingenious players who really started to put together this strategy that allowed us to this day, really see that TVP, in terms of Terran composition, hasn't changed too much. Mech is the way to go. These Vultures doing the run by. Did I not tell you earlier? 2 pylons, 3 cannons, and now we're seeing that only 2 cannons exist here, and so many probes are going down. Oh goodness, the noms for these Vultures, and Pusan is going to have to rebuild those workers off of these 3 next side that he has available to him. He really does need an additional base. His main base at this point has got to be mined out. The Zealots, though, they're getting in on these tanks, 2 down, and the Dragoons are in an awkward spot. They actually could get surrounded. Almost a full pull on SCVs to wrap around those Dragoons. Those Vultures kind of balancing their way at the top here. Even with Boxer not having maximum economy right now, he's going to be able to move these tanks over, get his economy back in mining, and he's going to be on solid 3 bases. So this is a really strong game for Boxer if he can come back at this point. What a lead has been diminished here by Pusan. With these failed attempts to be able to close out this game, Boxer got to be one of the hardest players to kill off, even when you know that it is sitting in your hands. It's like trying to hold water. Sometimes you could relate it to trying to hold a handful of rice. You know, that's probably better than water, because you almost get the handful of rice, and then you try and carry it over to where you need to move it, and you get like 2 or 3 dropping out. And if you're me, I spilled an entire bag of rice the other day, and I tried to clean it up with my wife not knowing, and lo and behold, she found like a cluster of rice that I forgot to clean up. So definitely got called out on that one. And there's nothing worse than trying to get out of something and then still getting caught. These tanks are zero tanks hiding behind those supply depots. Boxer's still looking great. I mean, you could trade Flash, Boxer's game for Flash right now, and you still wouldn't be able to tell Boxer playing so well this late in the game. Alright, and thank you again, Lead the Bot, for all the information in the chat here. The Dragoons are retreating back to his base. It should be a full map split at this point. It shouldn't just be 4 bases for Pusan. He should have 5 at this point. He should have a base at the top right. And he sent me back a decade and let me coach this guy. I could give him some stellar advice. These vultures running up here though, and this is going to be bad. So many probes here undefended, dropping down the spider mines too. This is going to slow the roll, even if there's an observer there. The vulture's not getting right in the right spot to get these probes. I like that Boxer set 1 over of the 4 to hit the high ground, to go from high ground to hit the low ground units at the natural base. Can you believe that Rich just pokes perfectly over behind the mineral line for that vulture to get quite a few kills off? Kind of reminds me of pre-patch Payback Mountains in its 1.0 version from the ASL. And you'll probably hear me reference that a few more times. Just trying to promote the fact that there is a StarCraft 1 tournament doing live and well. It is supported by Africa TV, who bought GOM TV, and so they are the new GSL. It is like watching a GOM TV MSL series if you want to compare it to anything. And so that's what we're seeing. September 10th, we'll be able to watch maybe another Protoss player besides Bisu be able to win a final of a tournament. It's going to be great, guys. Definitely don't want to miss it. Okay, so this has really hit the late game, hasn't it? Boxer is doing a great job of just running around with his vultures, trying to make it work. Such great, efficient trades by using these vultures here. Meanwhile, Pusan hasn't found a way to establish himself an aggressive presence. And do you know why he's not really doing too well? Well, I mean, if you watch modern day PvT, what's the unit that's missing? The one late game unit that you would see at this point? Arbiters! Where is the Arbiter play, Pusan? I don't even see where your Stargate exists. You're not even thinking or suggesting carriers. Okay, now we see there's a Stargate. Maybe after I told him he's having some clairvoyant voice from the future come back and tell him that he will need to have that Stargate out. An Arbiter play must exist if he wants to be able to battle Boxer, who is looking so strong off this Vulture tank play. Yes, Methodology. People still play StarCraft 1 as a tournament. There's a significant prize pool, and players are making so much money off of streaming StarCraft 1. It's ridiculous. Average salaries per month is $25,000 a month income for the top players. We're talking Bisu, Flash, Shuttle does well, Terror does well, C does really well too. It's a mix of the personalities and the fact that they're just really, really popular from the Kespa era. Okay, but let's focus here. Pusan trying to break the high ground. He's bringing the shuttle towards the back. He's got a lot of zealots at the front, but still there's way too many vultures here. Something that Flash didn't have against Bisu. And in that last game that he played against him in the final Pro League match of the history of StarCraft 1. The one that we count. We're excluding Hybrid Pro Leagues for sure. So the tank group moving down here just to engage only Dragoons. The Arbiter is finally out here. But the Arbiter is really not doing anything too much. You can see that actually the Dragoons weren't even under the cloak here. Pusan, he's lost everything. His Gateway Army's done. You can see that the crowd is starting to stir here. They're seeing that there is daylight for Boxer to win this game. Pusan might be losing his additional base here. The 3 o'clock location starting to melt down. It is just going and dwindling away. Oh man, and yes, the rumor of J-Dog returning to Brood War, I can neither confirm nor deny, but I will give you a physical indication. Anyway, that's about all I'm going to say on that one. The play here is just ridiculous for Boxer. This comeback is actually quite amazing. He was down on one base for so long. Pusan not able to take control of this game in the mid-game. Oh, the stasis is going down, but I mean, there's already too many Nexon, many tanks and volters here to kill off the Nexus. It's going to be insane. Oh god. Now this is a GG timing if you ever heard one. But Pusan, he has those top 2 bases. He's remacroing from the bottom right, so that's what he's continuing to do. Happy Bunny Time! Welcome to the chat. I love you some HBT. One of the awesome team liquiders around. And GG coming from Pusan here. And he's going to lose to Boxer. Boxer on a 2-0 win streak today in my cast. Pretty cool, guys. Oh man. This is the wonderful thing about Thursdays. We get to see great stuff like this. Alright, so I've got one more game. We're going to go ahead and we're definitely going to be able to cast this one. Who is that handsome face? Look at that. Okay, so the last game, higher definition, going to be Stork versus Harangue 2. I'm going to take a quick break, refill my drink because it's looking empty. And then we will go into game number 3. So guys, I'll play some music. I'll be right back. Hang tight, please, if you want to continue to watch this podcast.
한 경기 승리에 만족하지 않는 이면은 벌써 4경기 준비하고 있습니다. 4경기 알포인트가 머리처럼 지금 보이는 거 이면 얼굴에 보이는 분이 유세 이면 한점 걸리고
Alright guys, welcome back, and I'm getting ready to cast game number 3 of the day for the weekly Dagger. I welcome you guys. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me. It looks like the viewer count remained the same, so either people left in came or no one left, which is even cooler. I love loyal viewers. Thank you so much. Please subscribe if you haven't. I'm not on enough for you to get so many emails that subscribing to me actually harasses you. So, just keep it cool. And we're going to be watching Harangue versus Stork. Really, because this was listed under one of the best comeback games. And I wanted to watch... Excuse me. I wanted to watch not only a great comeback game, a high-definition game, but a Stork game. And all that criteria got met. And so I did not look any further. And we're going to be watching this right now.
만약에 이경민 선수만 잡겠다라고 했을 때 이경민 선수의
All
약점이
right,
뭐
so if you
테란전을
missed, we
노려서
watched
뭐
Boxer
김기현
versus
선수라든지
Joyo, and then we watched
뭐
Boxer
김기현 선수
versus
카드를 좀 생각을 할
Pusan,
수도
and
있겠지만
two great epic
어쨌든 남은
comeback
선수들은 다
games.
승리를 해야
One for
되거든요.
2003,
네,
one for
그렇다고 했을 때
2005.
대장전인데요.
This
그렇죠.
one's just a little
남은
bit
세 명의
of a bigger
선수를
jump
상대한다고 했을
between
때
those two games. We're
남은
going
두
up to
명까지 뭐 이경민 선수가 한
2011
세
here.
명이라고 했을
And
때 뭐
look at
성병구와
that
카드가
base
가장
right
좋죠.
there.
신동원이
Is
또
that,
기다리고 있고
that looks like
한 명은
Hydra,
사는
right?
틀림없어요. 근데 그렇다고 이경민이
That's before the
특별리스탄
merger.
성병구에 비해서
Before
개인
Hydra was
밸류가 좀
picked
떨어져.
up by
그렇다고
another team,
경기력에서
I
떨어져? 이렇게 볼 수는 없는 게
Correct me if
역대
I'm wrong,
전적도
any of you guys who
08
are
시즌부터
looking at players' faces.
08 시즌에 한 번,
Hydra's
010
doing,
시즌에
I guess, did well in
1대1로 또 두
StarCraft
번,
2 and
거기에
used to play.
이번 시즌에 3라운드 때 송병구를
I
잡으면서
believe
경기 마무리했던 게
playing
이경민이었거든요.
for
3대1로 상대 전적이 프로리그에서 월등히
Alright.
앞서고 있습니다.
So, we
송병구가
are on the map.
이경민을 넘어서도 또 다른
pretty
산이
cool.
기다리고
And
있지만 일단 이
this
한
is the
경기도
winners
쉽지
league, I
않다라는 거예요.
believe. So I guess
멀티킬 뭐 진짜
the
끝판왕
comeback
문제가 아니라
here,
진짜
if,
이경민한테 오히려 갚을 게 많네요. 이경민에게 도전장을 내는
and you
입장이
can know here immediately
선병구예요.
by
김병호
these
선수 같은 경우에는
players'
뭐 팀의
positions
마지막
here.
주로 나오면서
If you are
위에서
familiar
구해내야
with
되겠다.
who plays on
그 전에
high
일단
end,
이경민부터
that her
잡아야 되는
rank
상황인데
2 will be at the
송병호
7
선수의
o'clock
포토전이
position.
그렇게 나쁜 건
And
아니에요.
at
잘해요.
the top
네,
right, at the 1
잘합니다.
o'clock
그런데
position will be the
송병호
famous
선수는 모든
Protoss
종족을
player
잘 하는 와중에 프로토스가 조금 떨어지는 것이고
Stork's so
반대로
good
이경민은
here, and
프로토스는 제일
2001
잘하는
is
선수고
acting at this
그러다
point
보니까
as
거기서 조금 차이가 나지 않다는 생각이 좀
Meanwhile,
들어요.
Harangue 2 is kind of like this goofy player who actually did pretty well towards the end of StarCraft 1.
송병구 선수는요.
예, 뭐
And,
잘 됐어요.
you know,
그러니까 뭐
there was like the
하이트
hybrid
엔투스의 남은
league,
선수 중에서 뭐 에이스 신동원 선수가 있잖아요.
and the
신동원
hybrid
선수가
league,
삼성전자
CJ
칸의
Cantus,
모든 선수들에게
of the
상대 전적에서 다
videos
앞서거든요.
too loud. Oh,
그런데
sorry.
송병구한테는 뒤쳐져요. 예, 그런
let me
부분까지도
tone
고려를
that
해서
down. Thank you so much,
송병구가
Vinsanity,
무조건
for
송병구밖에
pointing that
없는
out. I
거예요.
do appreciate it. I don't want you guys having your ears crushed by these commentators. Of course, I do forget it because I have it so low for me. Anyway, we've got it down at this point. Okay. Hopefully everybody's still in a relatively good mood. We've got a Zelt that's kind of chasing around at the bottom of this base here. Meanwhile, both these players are just kind of chasing out the scouting probes, trying to keep that from happening here. And this is just a mix inside of the base. Oh, you guys are so awesome for telling me right away. There have been casts where people just kind of accept the audio levels, but promise you, I can change those in an instant. I pay attention as best I can, and so I do appreciate when you spam the chat. Coming out from here, we've got a pretty standard opening from both these players. It's all about getting up towards either the 3 gateways or the 2 gateways and that robotics facility and PvP. I feel like those are really the 2 significant variations that we've seen over time in PvPs. PvP right now in StarCraft 1, if you said, hey BisuDagger, what's the level of play? PvP is the worst matchup in terms of strength of players and than any other matchup. I think ZVZ has been okay. At least ZVZ when Killer was around was actually pretty great. But now we're seeing a little bit of weaker ZVZ. Effort's return has helped that out a ton. So Effort and Zero really trying to pick up the skill level there. So many TVTs, it's outrageous, it's disgusting. This has been the Africa TVT tournament, honestly. And so you can already go ahead and acknowledge that TVT is pretty good. But yeah, when it comes down to it, the PvP play has been just pretty unstellar. That's probably why Bisu has a 90% win rate in PvP in any of his tournament matches. Yeah, no one can beat that. BlindRar in the chat is laughing because most notably there was a merger between 2 teams. There was Heights, Sparkies, I believe, and then CJ Entus. And they merged together to become one united team, Height Entus, at that point. And then later they became CJ Entus again because CJ is just like, you know what, screw this, we're branding with my name. So they took their name back and they also took that giant sword from Savior, both in the same year. Yep, this is a game from 2011, guys, but I am casting this live. You're not just seeing like an old VOD here. Meanwhile, both these players still playing pretty standard on this old map, Benzene. And if you haven't watched that, this game is actually on the YouTube channel Navaki. And anybody who wants to feel really nostalgic will hear that name and immediately understand, like, oh my god, all the best videos came from Navaki's YouTube channel back in the day. He provided them all. So really, really cool to be back on this channel again. You know you're watching some old school StarCraft 1 at that point.
스피드업을 누를 가스가 좀 부족할 수밖에 없고요.
Well, you know what? That probe's just going to kind of skate around here, and the Protoss units are looking pretty strong for both these players. But we are going to see that there is a shuttle completed for both these players, that the robotics facilities have been created, and that there is the potential for the Reaver play. Who's going to get the Reaver out and about first, though? That's really what it's going to be coming down to. Both the players are sending out probes into odd locations to make sure they can just scout all the nooks and crannies of the map and make sure nothing is hidden and nothing is undiscovered. And yeah, John 747 is also pretty old school channel here. Man, we haven't heard that from that guy in quite a bit. He pops up like once a year at least to post in good forms. Alright here, so it looks like the forces for Harang 2 are still in a pretty good position here. Stork's looking for an expansion. He's going to be going towards that natural base. Meanwhile, we've got Slow Shuttle heading towards the main base of Harang 2. Can Harang 2 hold on here? His shuttle's going to be heading out. Oh, they're going to be crossing paths. This is just going to be a space smack of spaceships. Oh, these Dragoons are going to be in the right spot. No, a couple shots going off already. Not enough to bait. Stork was already aware because he ran into that shuttle that there's a possibility of Dragoons being in the right spot to defend against this. So Stork not able to get his drop off, and he's going to be batted back. Meanwhile, quick dropship heading towards the direction of Stork himself. He's going to have to defend against rank 2. It's going to be his turn right now. Can he scout out where the drop's going to happen? Looks like the speed shuttle's done. Look how fast that movement is going at the top of the map. You can see that the fog of war is clearing out, almost going down the pylon in just a perfect scouting position, though. Going to give him the tips of the shuttle itself, and it is going to get forced back. Okay, let's turn the commentator down even more as we continue into this game. I don't care. We can even turn the commentator all the way off. It's just something to have a little bit more of an ambient sound as we continue here. The Reaver coming out for Harang 2. Just another one, I guess, to defend back at home. Meanwhile, he does have that shuttle just tearing around the map. The Dragoons here doing a great job of picking off these scouting pylons. If you're coming from StarCraft 2 and you're just getting a little bit of a taste from StarCraft 1, you won't be seeing any units warping into those. No, obviously not. They're just there to be able to see different portions of the map. Really like it though, because shuttle drop is so critical in PvP. The Reaver does so much damage. Absolutely disgusting to see those scarabs go off. And this is a lot of probes off of the main base. It's overmining. It's overmining textbook play 101. I hate to see it by any player because, you know, he needs to maynard more probes over there. He's going to run out of minerals so fast inside of his main base. He's going to render his main base useless so quickly. Not that great. And I've been informed that it's not Harang 2, it's pronounced Harangi. And I'm just going to keep it old school and keep the 2 in there because why not? I've been saying it that way my entire life, but that's hilarious that it is pronounced Harangi. Sponsored by Gunner Optics. Actually, all the programmers that I work with have Gunners. Gunners are pretty solid. Oh, that Reaver Scarab! Oh, brutal! Look at the face on Harangi. And he does lose quite a few probes there. That guy, he doesn't know how to do his hair, and he doesn't know how to keep his probes alive from Reaver attacks. Those are 2 things we know right now, and we can conclude with fact. So he does lose those probes as they tried to run up inside the main base. He's going to have to go for the counter aggression here. Oh, so many units out in the middle of the field. The Dragoons, where are they? Are they in a spot to defend? It looks like the shuttle's going to get battered back again. The Dragoons in the right spot here. He's not going to be able to get past these Dragoons right in the middle of the map either. Oh my god, 8 health left. And we are all losing hair together as Harangi does manage to keep his units alive. The Reavers are on the ground. They're going for the massive defense. Oh, he loses them. He loses the shuttle. The Reavers are going to have to go for the slow walk home. This is the walk of shame, the JBF hair, and the hangover from last night's drinking. And these Reavers have to slowly mosey their way home. Oh, and 2 Dragoons do manage to go down. They're not going to go down without a fight here. The Dragoons are running in here to try and gank from behind and pick off these Reavers, but not enough to help keep them alive. Meanwhile, the pincher attack, Stork has Harangi at every move here, as he's actually going to be killing off so much of that Protoss army. Stork is playing on fire right now. I mean, this is absolutely incredible. Okay, so the re-macro coming out from Harangi. He's going to have to hide. He's going to have to defend from his main base and his natural base. Another dropship, or I'm sorry, shuttle is going to be coming in here very shortly for Stork as he prepares to try and go for another Reaver devastating attack. This mid-game battle here, this is going to be really hard for Harangi, who has 2 Reavers in the back here. And oh, he gets both the Reavers. The Reavers go down. The shuttle gets destroyed. The Dragoons do push forward here. The re-macro is going to be really tough because he's already behind the choke point inside of his natural base. He can't get a good surround here. And it's all about the concave in Protoss versus Protoss. No Zealots in here to tank either. It's going to be all about those Dragoons here. The Dragoons going for a massive defense. Is Harangi going to be able to hold on? That's the bottom line. The Reaver is coming in here to help defend. He needs to get the Scarab off. The Scarab does get one shot, hitting those Dragoons at the front. And you know what? Stork, he's put himself in too much of a choke point. He's engaged way too far, lost a ton of Dragoons at the front, and the Dragoons are going to have to be running back away from that natural base. Stork, he's going to have to reverse that commitment and maybe start thinking about a 3rd Nexus instead of continuing this attack. Somehow, some way, Harangi's managed to keep himself in this game, and he is going to continue going forward. Man, have we really picked up on this PvP. What? High ground Dragoons. High ground. They're going to be picking off Dragoons on the low ground, picking off the power generator, whatever they can hit to. But Division seems to be there on the high ground. Stork's found himself in a bad position. He's losing way too many Dragoons. It looks like there's enough of defense here for Harangi to deal with that harassment over behind his natural base. He's not going to allow it to happen. The observers are coming in here trying to help increase the range of the Protoss army of Stork, but it's going to get battered back one more time, as we can see that the slug count has increased to 2. And now we've got both Reavers sitting at that natural base. Alright, it's time for a drink. Let's get back into it. I slam my cup like the power of Thor. And we can see that Stork is moving more units down to the bottom right. He's got to prepare himself for a 3rd Nexus. God, both these players are really running low on their main bases. I think somehow Harangi's managed to push his probe count back up. So at least he's mining pretty decently between those 2 bases. And honestly, losing all those probes I still feel like was okay, because he had so many at his main base that even though he lost 7 or 8 probes, it actually helped equalize and let him manage his economy better at the main and natural. So, not so bad. But Stork, oh, he's going in here again. This guy has balls of fire. The Reaver's ready to attack. 1 Scarab, 1 probe. Tit for tat right now. 1 more Scarab coming off. Is it going to explode? 3 probes go down. This is getting absolutely insane here. Another Scarab gonna go down. Where are these Dragoons for the defense? Only 1 Dragoon there. Stork not even gonna be remaining. He's gonna pick up those harassing units and run out of there. Well worth his attack, taking out about 8 probes in total. This was absolutely great. So doing a good job here, removing his shuttle from danger and bringing back up his mid-game army. When Stork's really trying to prepare himself for another attack while Harangi expands over towards that 3rd base location at the 10 o'clock position. So many Reavers out there, not with the shuttles to help him micro. It looks like the flying V of gateways is going to be allowing Stork to re-macro pretty solidly, with all those Dragoons coming out, just spewing him out. This disgusting amount of play coming from Stork is just really hard to deal with for Harangi, and we're seeing that the imbalance of a player's skill is really showing. Whoa! Whoa! Whoa, okay, we're seeing a lot of probes going down here. That was like 11 probes. Let's go ahead and throw out a wild number there, but those Reavers doing a great job at the 3rd base. And how does Harangi hold on? He's gonna have to just rely on army control and tons of damage at this point in the mid game if he's gonna be able to take out Stork, who just keeps knocking down that Protoss economy of Harangi. Okay, so this is a huge engagement in the middle. We're seeing that storms are going down like crazy. It looks like Stork does have the upper hand with those storms going down in the background, but there's still 2 Reavers alive. It's going to come down to some nice shuttle micro. Archons are tanking in the front, but they will go down again. It looks like the high ground advantage is in neither player's favor as they kind of both go on the break here. I saw DTs in the mix. DTs are out here too. Where are these DTs going to go? 2 Reavers for either side. So many Dragoons getting destroyed. And if Harangi loses this battle and has the lesser amount of units in the end, then Stork would have a lead. But are we seeing more blue on the map? It looks like we're seeing Harangi has survived the middle. He has won the pit. And now we're going to see a continued expansion. More probes coming up on the left side. Somehow Harangi's hanging on here while Stork is just finding out that more acne is growing on his face the longer he goes into this game, because he is sweating hardcore at this point in the game. Only sitting on 3 bases. Should have gotten up to 4 at this point. Needs to build up those macro gateways as much as possible. A lot of probes over at that base though. It's going to come down to, can Harangi defend his bases while he gets another round of mid-game army ready to go? I guess we're reaching more towards this late game. We're seeing DTs, Archons in the mix, Storm's ready to go crazy, and this has gone haywire on all different wires and fronts. Benzene, what a sick map for a PvT between these players. I welcome you guys to 2011 PvP, and this is what it's all about. So many High Templars moving out here trying to build up all this amount of Storm. They need to bring the power down. These power lines can be going crazy. If only Godzilla was wandering this map right now, he'd be feasting on this Protoss race. 3 glowing blue death balls getting ready to mix in with this Protoss army. Oh man, Stork, he still hasn't established a strong 4th base down at the bottom right. Needs to go for that full map split. Meanwhile, Harangi's finding himself an opportunity to come back into this game again. I'm surprised he decided to go for 6 High Templar into 3 Archon balls instead of saving up for Storms, but Archons are actually really good, and if he can position them well and get solid hits off, then maybe, just maybe, Harangi can win this next engagement too. Stork, though, he has that strong economy that has built up throughout this game, and he's going to try and get the slug away, but the Zealots are running in here, trying to get that Reaver out as quickly as possible. The Archon's coming in here too, some late Storms coming across, but it seems like Stork is finally getting the Storms out, floating on top of the heads of all these Archons, but they still somehow manage to stay alive. This is like watching a group of Ultralists run in. Somehow these units just never die. This is such imbalance here as the Archons move forward. Harangi doing a great job. He's got his Zealots engaging on this 3rd base for Stork, and it looks like the economy is going to start getting hit. Oh, the Reaver gets the probes at the front. This is disgusting. Stork is losing so many workers at this 3rd base. This is his only true mining economy right now. The natural's getting really low at this point in the game, and what a game we're seeing from Harangi, who is representing High Entus and maybe going to be able to win this series for his team. Man, what an incredible game from him. How is it possible after all these Reaver kills, all these probes going down, and January is saying, I regret my lineup one more time. Oh, I'm sure she put out the most ficklish of lineups. Okay, so Stork coming in with a re-macro here. Don't get your hopes down quite yet. It seems like the Dino Toss still is going to be coming in for one last stand. Without that Nexus, though, he really can't support his army that much longer. He's bringing the probes. And is he going to attack with them? No. And if you look down at the bottom right, Stork's been able to sneak up an extra Nexus down there. And, okay, so not only does he have the bottom right Nexus, but he is building an additional Nexus back at that 3rd base, so he will be up to additional 2 bases in economy, and he will be stronger than Harangi. Harangi's got to identify this. He's got to harass this. He's got to destroy it, or he's got to take a top left base and match up with Stork's expansions here. Meanwhile, Stork's additional macro is going to come out strong and hard here. Harangi, look at that crazy macro coming from him, though. He is super focused. You can see that both these players, they're micro incredible all over the map. And oh my, the FPS view, the first person view of this DT, and it's going to town. Already getting 3 kills. We can see that's going to continue there, getting up to 5. It's moving all the drones away from that base. There's no observer there, Harangi. Come on. That is lazy. And, unfortunately, he's going to have to let that DT just keep the mining from happening. I mean, there's the one additional method is that he could attack his own Zealot to try and hit the DT. Oh, but that would take too long, and it's not worth the time and the pain and the hassle. All right. And so we are going to see maybe a small break in this excitement here, as we have seen non-stop action since it started to pick up here. Oh man, I look to the right and my dogs are tap dancing. This is getting quite insane here. Another huge move out for Harangi as he gets his Dragoons across the double bridges. He's worked his way over to the right side again. His army looking strong, his Archons moving in, Storks looking weaker and weaker and weaker. Can we even tell where his Protoss units are? This is a mix. Look at the tiers coming down, and GG. It looks like Harangi has done it. Stork's been defeated. Oh boy. Simpson Kong fans, another day in the crying category. As you can see, Hientus 2011 peaking like crazy here with their massive win. And what a game indeed that we have seen. All right. Guys, you know, this has been an hour and a half long of a cast, and that's what I love. Hour and a half is that sweet spot here. So this is going to be the last game of the day. I know, sad. But I thank you so much for watching these games with me. And if you have any suggestions on what I should cast next Thursday, or if you want to just come and talk with me and my Team Liquid thread, let me see if I can go ahead and find that guy for you guys. I believe we have this BisuDagger thread here. And yeah. So if you want to give me any feedback, go ahead and here. If you were curious about the games that were played today, you can find that there was a recent discussion in this thread here. So I'm giving you all the best knowledge possible. And that's going to be it for the day. Thank you again, and follow me on Twitch. See me on September 10th for the ASL. If that's the next time you can watch StarCraft, you will be seeing me casting the finals, and it will be Sharp versus Shuttle. So that's it. Thank you all again. I'm going to close this out, play my goodbye music, and I wish you all a farewell.